Morning guys, it's Wednesday. I realised I have divided these videos up because otherwise they were going to get really long. So this morning we are going from a biomechanics session with a lovely person called Sarah Claridge, Meadow Sports Physio and Pilates, if you want to look her up, and my very good friend Millie McBride Dressage. So Millie has an amazing facility just down the road from me, and she's got a beautiful indoor arena, and she is a dressage coach. She works a very similar way to me, so it's great to have her as my best friend because it means that we talk all the time about the horses. And so she's going to be there today with Sarah as they run clinics together where they do this all the time. So you guys could go see them both, have some training with Millie, see Sarah, have the biomechanics session, the physio, and then the riding again with Millie, and it works really well. Their clinics are always sold out and really successful. So I will put all of the booking details and stuff and where you can find their pages in the description of this video, but go check them out because it might just be what you need. Sometimes when we feel we haven't got the horse going quite the way we want it to go, sometimes it is us, not just them. It's not just the training. So this is a really important step for me going to regionals to make sure that I am doing everything that I can be doing to feel good on him. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a hurry as always to get him ready, so I'm gonna go and do that and I'll see you guys there. Here we are, just arriving. Have Millie riding around in the beautiful indoor school that we're having our session in this morning. I don't know if you can see her. Right, I'm a bit late, so I'm going to get tacked up as quickly as possible. So by some miracle, I'm not late. So I have had one of these biomechanics sessions previously with Sarah a while ago. I was going to try and find some footage because, yeah, I was very in need back then. And so we're not going to do today as a standard session like you guys would have if it was the first time for you. So Sarah has suggested that actually we treat me first. So Sarah is my physio. She treats me regularly. Here she is in the background setting up her nice bed that she brings with her. Sarah treats me on a monthly basis when I'm being organised, and so she knows my weak points. She also trains me in the stable gym, and I've got some footage of me doing that as well. So So not only does Sarah do these biomechanics sessions, but she also runs Pilates classes and like rider fitness classes where it's all specific to the riding. So if somebody like me, who isn't going to go and try and run a marathon but does want to be better on her horse, it's ideal because I can go and run on a treadmill in my spare time, but those classes where it's all targeted on the points of your body where you are weaker, it's absolutely perfect. So for anybody in Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire, you know, I mean, for the right training, you'll travel for a while, right? Sarah is the person. So we're going to, instead of, normally what would happen is Millie and Sarah would watch me ride, they would talk together, find some points that they would be focusing on, wearing one of these very fetching stripy jackets, and then take me off the horse. Millie would walk the horse, make sure the horse is okay, and so you don't have to worry about having to put them in a stable or anything like that, or back on the lorry if they weren't a good loader, for example. And then after I was treated, I would be put back on the horse, and then again everybody would work together to help then solidify the things that we were noticing were weaker before the treatment. So we're going to skip that part today because, as I said, Sarah knows my weaker points. She's watched some videos from me yesterday competing, so she can straight away target the bits that need the work. And then, yeah, but I'm going to introduce you to everybody anyway. So, yeah, let's get started. No, it's all right. It's good there.
Do I need to talk?
Yes, a little bit. So this is everybody. This is Sarah, and I do this to everyone, and they hate it. So Sarah is going to treat me now, and then we can just go along and talk about it. I've even cut the top of your head off to view the thing. So there you go. Okay.
Okay. So we're going to lie down. We're going to have a look at your hips range. So just relax. So just.
Oh, I got squashed by Obi in the wash bed. Yeah.
How does that feel?
Horribly tight through the glute.
Actually, range is quite good.
But this, I've been doing my homework.
That's tight. Inside groin or outside glute?
Inside groin there.
Okay. So you got squashed?
Yeah, that way. Like from shoulder to shoulder.
Did you end up crunching?
Yeah, everything flipped.
The rotation of your thigh and just relax, Mary.
This one's so much worse than the other side.
And your seat effectively. So what we're trying to do to begin with, because we know what Mary's like when she's weak and when she's strong, is release and get a bit more range of movement. Then what we'll do before we get you on board is to fire up all your muscles so that you're ready to ride and ready to use them.
And so would these be exercises that you'll give me that I could do every time before I get on?
Absolutely, yeah. So you'll have some pre-activation exercises to do, which you do within half an hour before you get on board. Generally, if you can do them just before you get on board, that's kind of the best thing.
As in, like, horse tacked up,
yep.
Do your exercises, jump
yeah,
on
as if sort of pop your hat on, and then do some exercises. Only takes 2 minutes max, really. You just want to fire them up, not exhaust them, because we want them to work when we're riding. When you train to get the muscles stronger outside of riding, so at home, then you want to kind of fatigue the muscles and get them tired, so that you can work them at a harder level. But obviously, if you're going to do that when you're going to ride, then you've got no energy in the tank for riding. So for riding, you need to sort of fire them up. For home exercise and strengthening for the long term, you need to do strengthening exercises after.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So now we've released a bit, have another little reassessment and feel that's better. Does it feel as tight? You've got a lot further now.
It feels less acutely tight. Yeah. Like it felt very like short, and now it feels like now you're stretching it in a good way, kind of thing.
So after we've done trigger pointing, so what we've just done, doing a static stretch just to encourage a little bit more maintenance of length is good.
Really camera lady. So right, this is one I can't do with my arms.
Yeah, so opposites together. So you down. Imagine you're looking through your horse's ears. So get a nice bit of height going on. Don't let your knees go in. And you need to keep your heels out for me. So your feet are level and straight, as if you're going, sitting in the saddle with the feet in the stirrups. Try not to sway from side to side. Look ahead, don't look down. So a little bit rotated through here. So push that band outwards for me. Heels out, especially on the right. And you feel your glutes work. Nice. So
much better than before. And it used to be like, it used to not feel like I was using the right bit of my body, but now I do at least.
It's nice, this one, because it's weight bearing.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it really kick-starts your glutes and your lateral chain. But it also warms you up through your hips, obviously, which we need to be nice and mobile. And it starts to activate a bit of hip adductors and a bit of that sling work with the arms as well. That's probably enough, isn't it? Okay, let's go.
Right, let's meet Millie. Hi, Barney Tucker. So this is Millie, my best mate. So now what we're going to do, me and Millie have been talking about my goals. So I've got regionals coming up. I struggle a bit with the medium trot. My halts aren't as good as they could be. So there's a couple of things, and then like the canter often doesn't have enough jump. So basically, Millie is a coach. She is a British Dressage recognised coach. And, Sarah's going to hold the camera. And so you guys run clinics together all the time where people can come. Will you tell me a bit about it?
So people come and we meet them and their horse and find out a bit about their goals, their weaknesses, their strengths. Sarah assesses them while we have a warm-up and we look at the way the horse goes, the way the rider influences the horse's way of going. Sarah fixes the rider. Hopefully when they get back on, the horse is already going better, and then we can improve the way of going and the training for their specific goals with Sarah's help, using different bands, balls, different things like that.
So and you guys have had really successful clinics, haven't you? Especially run from this amazing facility that you have. It means that people can come here in this beautiful indoor, have their session indoors, their horse can stay indoors, they don't have to go and be put back in a stable or on a lorry or something in between, which actually makes for a far more comfortable experience, because sometimes horses are really tricky to load or they get unsettled being taken in and out of arenas. So you guys have had a great time, haven't you? And it's really, really
it's
popular.
Good, and it's really beneficial to see the difference between the horse and the rider combination from start to finish. It amazes me every time we do it.
Yeah.
So it is, it's something we need to think about as riders, that we put in as much work to ourselves as we do for the horses.
We have far more accountability than we realise.
Yeah.
Because we're there going, the horse doesn't do X, and actually we are playing a part in that. Yeah, sometimes the horse is weaker, but a lot of the time it is us as well. So should we go and get a horse?
Yes, let's go.
Shall I go and do one of my clever things? And then hopefully it looks right. Anyway, I can go get it.
Okay, so we're just going to give you a little stretch, really relax through hip.
Stirrup length looks good.
You need to have a bit of flex in your knee.
I feel a little bit further away from the knee roll.
Yeah.
Just doesn't feel as secure.
Looks good.
Oh yeah.
Well, we can leave you like that, just to loosen you off while he's loosening up.
It will be interesting maybe when we have the bands on. That will also help with the feeling of length through the leg.
Okay.
There she is.
Okay, so we've just asked Mary to have a little walk around initially, just to loosen up Obi, and just to go from the outside coming down centre or up the centre line away from us, so we can just have a look at her pelvis, how she's sort of moving with Obi and her position. And then obviously Millie's going to have a look at Obi. So, right side of pelvis is swinging a little bit more to the right, a little bit tighter through left, but we know that Miri's tight through her right hip, just generally, but we've loosened her off, so we should see an improvement, especially once she starts to warm up. So you want to be as supple as you can through your belly button down to your feet, but then with the upper body you've got to have and maintain your own self-carriage. So you want to be tall through your spine, through your body. Think about those vertical lines on your jacket so that you're growing up towards the roof. But be careful that you don't pin yourself back so you're not too behind the vertical with the shoulders and the mid-back. So you've got to think about your body working as a whole rather than separate entities. At times we do want to work them separately, but for this part you need to be soft, relaxed and supple. So often the dominant side will be the heavier feeling side through the seat bone, because you're used to using that side and it's the more activated.
And in terms of Obi, maybe just start having him a bit lower and a bit softer in the frame and over the back, because then also we can have a look at like length of stride of Obi.
That was something interesting the judge said yesterday, that he looked a little tight in the shoulders in my first test. So in my free walk.
Yeah.
So in my second test I really went.
Yeah.
And then I got an 8.
Yeah, but it is interesting, like I've seen Obi walk much better connected and with a much better frame before than I did just then today. But when you're so focused on yourself, it can make things a bit rigid to start with.
So think about shoulders, ribs staying on your vertical line, always looking ahead, not down, and then really soft and loose through your waist, through your hips, your lower leg.
Rather than feel like you have to take the hands out to the side or the elbow out, just try to keep yourself aligned in the position Sarah has put you in. Have a few breaths there so that you don't feel tension in that position. And then if the connection feels a little bit loose, try and ride him forward from the leg into the rein rather than using the rein to create the connection.
So what do you think about Millie's foot position in the stirrup? Because she likes to ride just with her toes
With the toe in the stirrup, yeah,
So-
not the whole foot.
Yeah, so on Bertie, I've been trying to get her to ride with a bit more foot in, so she's got the broadest part.
Having my stirrups longer.
You don't?
No, they're like flopping about.
Yeah.
But also, can you try and put more of your foot in the stirrup? So you've got more of the widest part of your foot in the stirrup on the bar. So the broadest part of your foot should be on the bar. Because you like to ride just with your toes in, but your lower leg's going to be more secure if you can ride with the wider. You know, like I make you do on Bertie, and you say, "Oh, I don't like that." Try and just do it for a mo.
I think we should put these. I think we should put these bands on, and then have a canter, and then have a look at a little bit the trot work on and back, and really keeping the length in the neck. Okay. But it's interesting. Sarah was saying you're more dominant in the left side, so potentially the left flexion, left bending, coming a little bit shorter in the neck may also be because you're stronger in the left hand. On the right side, it comes more from the leg rather than the rein. Under the left foot, across the body and over the right shoulder, and then the same on the other side.
When you're rising trot, so if you just stand up in the running trot and then sit down. So remember, you need to tuck your ribs down, and with your rising trot, you don't want to lift from your ribs, which you did at the beginning. You want to push from your bottom.
I literally can't now. These things. My chastity belt. Very weird. My left one is all over the shop. How interesting is this?
That's it. Choose a position, don't fiddle with it. It's just
So-
like your hands, you don't want to fiddle with your hands.
Just take a minute, riding some circles and things, just get used to the feel of this.
They pull up your heel. They pull your heel up.
The point,
What I feel.
yeah, and they do. And that the point of them is to stretch down.
I know. It makes the sitting trot. Yeah, but also really focus that you keep the chin lifted.
Shoulders
And
open.
the neck into the back of the collar as well, so you don't end up forward. And then resting hands again. Good.
You see, this is better, so she's not flaring through her ribs.
And really still with the hand. Yeah, because there he's coming better in the length in the neck, and then it's that little bit of left hand wants to take over that then brings him a little bit shorter in the neck. Try to really make it that you come from left leg into left leg. There's better. There's better again.
So the point of the bands are to give you feedback, so awareness through your position. It's to keep your body tall, so you're feeling that band trying to sort of ping you back, shorten you. You're trying to sit tall, extend up into them, but also through the lower leg you're trying to stretch down and lengthen as well.
So from my point of view, Obi needs a little bit more of everything. So a little bit more canter, but also a little bit more connection to start with. So even if when you first go to the canter you have him a little bit lower and a little bit rounder, less like a competition frame, and then you draw him into a competition frame when you really have a secure connection. Otherwise it looks a little bit like it's too easy for the rein to go missing and for his neck to suck back at you, because he's just not there from the back to the front.
Can you see though, watch her pelvis, can you see that she goes up and back? So she kind of does a half circle, so she kind of, as he comes under, he pushes her into the front of the saddle and she stops.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're seeing is in canter, you're following his sort of movement forwards, but you're not allowing him to lift you up and carry you back. So essentially you're just hitting the front of the saddle like that, which is not allowing him to bring his hind leg underneath him to allow him to move through the back. So essentially you're blocking him. So this may be where the energy of him is not being helped by you.
Yeah.
So what you need to think about is the canter being a backward wheel. So you've got to come forward and up into that wheel. So the bit that you're missing is the forwards and the up. You're not letting him lift you. You're staying a bit too fixed through the hip. So you should rise with his canter stride and then fall on that circular motion. So you know how the hula that we do is that mobile circle. So you're basically missing half of the loop.
Make me feel more down in front of myself than I normally feel. In the sense I've noticed my pants bunching up around parts. But is it because they are then just exacerbating what is the thing?
Yeah.
And when I had these bands on, the canter, I really had to try to do so much less with my seat and with my leg, and just actually take a couple of strides to allow nothing to happen, so that you just follow his movement more rather than trying to follow it, and then it becomes a little bit rigid.
Millie, when you were riding with these, did you feel that you could still lengthen through your leg but switch off through your waist, your pelvis?
Yes, I think that's something I had to really work on though, was to do, like, I think this side's better.
Really gentle.
Yeah, but it's better, but it's so hard to do nothing. So from your sort of hip down, it's that feeling of looseness, but even as you click him forward or you put your leg on forward, think about with where the hand goes, so that you don't actually squeeze back as you ask him to go forward, because then the forward comes with a short neck.
You are better through your hips on this side.
Yeah.
So here,
Feeling the pant punch.
it's because you were a bit tense on the other end. You're a lot more relaxed, so you're getting lift now. So you're allowing your pelvis to come down, forwards and up. So you're allowing him to lift you underneath. Because you're his rucksack essentially, aren't you? So if you're really heavy and blocking him lifting you, he's not going to want to push you up and come under. So he's basically avoiding that lift from underneath his hind, isn't he? Good. Careful not to tuck your chin down too much, because then you fix through the neck on yourself.
Yeah.
This looks better.
Yeah, much better. And no shorter in the right hand. So when you feel like you want him a bit more up or a bit more connected, don't shorten on the right rein anymore. Push him to the rein with the low resting hand.
Almost when he feels a bit lacking of energy, I suppose you need to feel like jelly hips.
Yeah.
So they go really soft. So there is no blocking from you.
Yeah, that's better, because he has to be on his own legs in the push too.
That was better.
That was
looks
better.
Nice there. And she's not jarring.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's better again there. Yeah, and then there, a little bit he was leaning into the right leg, but the push isn't so tight.
Yeah.
Resting hands. Yeah, this looks better.
Yeah.
This looks much better, because you'll see on the video it looks a little bit like you say go, but then there's nowhere for him to go, so then the neck shortens and you end up with a little bit of tightness.
And I think it feels like there's a gap.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you're tight in through here, you jar into the front. So your pelvis looks like it jars into the saddle.
Yeah.
Into the saddle. So you don't get the lift in the rise here.
Yeah.
So your seat bones should come like this, and they should carry forwards.
Yeah.
But you're not getting this bit. You're getting this bit, but you're not allowing him to take you full and under to drive you forwards. You did. She did got some really nice parts of that when you were a little bit more.
It's trying to switch off a bit to allow him to take you through the canter, rather than we tried to do so much to create it that you end up shutting it down a bit.
You've got to let him do his thing.
Just want to say on the video, my legs feel so much more around him, having worn those bands. with the longer.
Yeah.
This is me, no whingy.
Oh, she's saying she likes the longer stirrups.
Feel it, try not to look down. Vertical.
The left here is so much better, and then allow him.
That was better also because your body was with him, you didn't get left behind. Try and keep your shoulders level and your waist level, so don't tilt, because that's also going to affect your weight balance and how you feel to him. So that might be throwing him as well with what Millie's saying.
That's a really good turn. So let him go, let him go. And it's that fear of him not being on the bit or going to canter that makes you, hands low, makes you want to pull back a little bit. Yeah. From the centre line to the 3/4 line, really good. Really good. Different. Because it's not this way and then you can't get in it.
And I think you're so right about that feeling of being afraid of it breaking.
Yeah.
Or not being on the bit enough.
Yeah.
Is really.
So then you say go, but it's so easy to then not allow him to go, and then you're like, there's not enough trot. But if you trust a bit in his balance and your balance.
Yeah, and that my body isn't, like you're saying, about
Pushing,
behind.
yeah, because that's the bit what Millie's saying is when you push to say go, you lean back, and she goes behind the vertical, doesn't
So
she?
then it pulls
And then the neck comes
and
up.
back, and the front legs come then here, straight down, rather than you have the reach.
You've just got to carry it's about centre of gravity, so you've got to keep your centre of gravity in the middle of him, and then ask with your legs for the aid, so that you don't unbalance him by shifting your weight. Because every time you shift your weight, his life gets harder to do what you're asking him to do.
Towards the end, you were so much more quiet with the hands. And that makes a huge difference. Otherwise, he's on the bit, but just here. And then I think that's also where you feel like you don't have enough, not enough canter because he's
I'm actually always saying this like that.
Yeah.
He's more likely to take the bit, isn't he, if you're not less
Yeah, what
with the
I
hands.
say to people is you can't expect them to be still in the rain if you're not still in the hand. I tell you what, it's really interesting. He's much sweatier today, like he's steaming around his ears and stuff. And I think it's because I'm doing less for him. He's actually having to use himself more.
Sweating your own legs.
But that's good, isn't it? Because you need to be sort of in the centre of him and light and allow him to work, and he needs to learn that he's got to work. And that you're not kind of blocking him from doing it.
Or carrying him around and trying to do it for him.
Yeah, I think so many times the rider does too much, and actually the horse needs to take up the slack, but the rider needs to allow that. So the rider's sometimes a bit of a control freak, and you need to switch off and allow him to...
Look at me trying to run a dressage test only with my arms.
No wonder your shoulders are tight.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to hold
this beast So to try to allow him, trust in your own balance and also his, that you allow him to give you the upward feeling in the trot through the shoulder and also in the canter.
Yeah.
I think the key point with that, this is the main point to take away, to work on, is to work on your flexibility through your hips and through your thigh. Because in the first part, you were being sort of shunted forwards, and you're blocking the movement, and for him to come underneath and to rise, you just weren't letting him come under to rise. And that's because you're trying to do too much here. So you actually need to keep lower leg on, but secure and still. Upper carriage still got to be there, not behind the vertical, but you've got to be jelly hips here, so that you allow him to bring you forwards, up, carry you back, and then forwards for the next stride.
Because it's the hips are able to move like that, but then I don't end up like that with it, like
which then pulls
leaning
the neck
back.
short.
So it's soft hips, tailbone down, rib cage down, and then allowing my shoulders to be open to let the neck out. Okay. Really good.
Good job.
Thank you so
Well
much,
done.
guys. This has been so interesting. And so I will put these guys' contact details in the description below. So if anybody would like a session along these lines, then just hit them up on the old socials.
Hit us up.
And you guys can have some help like this. So yeah, thanks so much, guys. And I will see you next time, everybody. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
Guys are not very animated. Now, just very quickly, just come and stand and smile like it was a picture at the camera. So that there's
I'm just thinking toothpaste side.
Just remember, we just all have to be smiling.
Oh,
Do you want to be this one?
no, this is fine.
We just all have to be smiling at the same moment, and Obi needs to be looking nice.
Is
This
your
is
head
it,
like? Is
because
your
it's-
head in the picture though?
I don't know.
Yeah, duck down a bit.
Yeah.